Heidi is delivering her 10th speech today from the Competent Communicator Manual, Inspire Your Audience.
Great.
Heidi set a goal for herself back in March to deliver all 10 speeches by the end of the year and hopes to that alone inspire some of you. We've got those notes coming around so you can take a look at other opportunities for achievement, all of us. The objective of Speech 10 is to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of belief or achievement. Sharing her own circuitous career path and that of a few of her friends, she intends to inspire you to find your calling in life if you have not already done so. The title of Heidi's speech is Find Your Calling. It's 8 to 10 minutes long. Thank you, Heidi.
Thanks. I believe every one of us has a calling. We're born in this world, and we come without much, but our job while we're here is to figure out what our purpose is. Now, some people are really lucky. I have two friends who knew from a very early age what they were meant to do here. The first one, his name is Matthew. Matthew's in his early 20s. And Matthew told me when he was a young boy, he had a dream. He dreamed of a golden harp, and he could play it. And when he sat down to play it, the most beautiful, ethereal music came from that harp. And when he woke up, he said to his parents, I have to play the harp. It's what I'm supposed to do. And luckily for Matthew, his parents had the wherewithal to make that dream come true. Now, certainly, he had to put in the effort and the time, the practice, and maintain that commitment. But today, Matthew plays with symphonies around the country. He's one of the happiest people I know. And I think that's because he truly is doing what he was meant to do. Now, it will be interesting 20 years from now if he's still doing that, because he might not be. I don't think there's just one path or one destination for us. For some people, maybe that's true. But I think for most of us, there's a number of destinations, or maybe they're milestones on the path. I have a second friend, similarly. She knew pretty early on she was going to be a doctor. She was very bright, very gifted in school and academically, and had a desire to help people. So from about the time she was in high school, she knew what her path would be. She knew what she had to do to get there, and she just trotted along. Now, Sarah has been a physician for about 17 years. And she's worked in community clinics, and she's helped poor people. She hasn't made a lot of money doing this, but she's really fulfilled. She really feels like she has achieved her objective in life. But she's 40, and now it's time to do something else. So it's been very interesting listening to her figure out what's next. And in her plan, she intends to retire at 55 and work in international health, probably as a volunteer. In order to do that, she's got 15 years to get her finances in order to allow her to do that. And given her past and what she's achieved, I suspect she'll get there. That will be what she does. She'll figure out how to do that. I'm going to use myself as sort of the other end of the spectrum. I had absolutely no idea what I was supposed to do. I had a mother who had some really good ideas, or perhaps regrets about her own life, and decided I should go into healthcare. And since I'd always been very interested in cooking and proper eating and good nutrition, she thought I should be a dietitian. I didn't even know what a dietitian was. Okay, she was willing to pay for college. I wanted to get out of the house. It was a good path for me. So I spent 4 years, and I almost was finished with my degree, and in the last semester of college, I was sent off to work in a hospital kitchen. What a terrible mistake to wait 4 years to discover I hated institutional cooking. Oh, I hated the smell, I hated the hours, I hated the clothes, I hated the whole thing. I had to do some really quick shuffling. What was I going to do? What was I going to do? Well, somebody gave me the idea. I could still be in healthcare. I didn't have to work in the kitchen. There was lots to do. Probably not medical school, because I wasn't that great academically. But if I went into business, and it seemed like I had kind of a talent for that, I could run the hospital, which was a heck of a lot better than being in the kitchen. So that's where I went. And I found a lot of meaning and fulfillment in 20 years of working in healthcare program management, clinic management, hospital management. And then it just really wasn't enough. And a number of things happened in my life that pushed me in a different direction. I took up the harp. Now, I really wasn't a musician. I had piano lessons as a kid. I played the clarinet, I dabbled with the flute, I tried the guitar. But really, I was not a musician. But something about the harp drew me in. I was just enchanted. The first time I heard one, I wanted to play. And I bought one a number of years ago, and it sat in the corner of my house collecting dust for the most part. But things happened in my life that drew me back to that harp. And I found when I sat and played, it brought me incredible peace and happiness and joy. I don't know how many of you got to go to the It's a Beautiful Day concert this weekend. It was a great concert. And I was reading in the Park Record the interview with David LaFlame, and he said how he came to the violin. As a child, someone gave him a violin. And he found when he played it, it brought a level of peace wherever he was, and comfort. And he just knew that was what he was supposed to do. And I could so relate to that, because that's how I felt when I played the harp. When you take up a musical instrument or an art form late in life, most of us are never going to be fabulous, but we don't really have to be fabulous. We really don't. What I do with the harp, and again, circumstances occurred, paths opened up, opportunities presented themselves, and these are all ways I knew I was on the right path, because it just was so easy. I enrolled in a program of therapeutic harp. And in therapeutic harp, we combine music, spirituality, and medicine. Well, I had the background in medicine. I was learning to play the harp. I was getting better. And the spirituality was probably the hardest thing that came to me, but it did come in time. And what I do now is I play for people who are dying. And I never thought I would do this. When I first became involved with therapeutic harp, I said to myself, I can't play for people who are dying. It's too sad. It's too depressing. I can't be surrounded by death and dying. But it turns out, not only can I, it is my calling. And I'm very comfortable in that environment. And it wasn't easy to start with, but I've been doing it for several years now. And I can't imagine doing anything else. And that's how I found my calling. I think the way we know that we're on the right path, it's something that brings us joy personally. It fulfills us personally. And it allows us to give something back to other people. If you come into this world and think your only job is to survive, eat, reproduce, and die, That's the job of a sea squirt or a bacteria. That's all that's expected of the lower life forms. But truly, all of us have something that we are supposed to be doing here that's going to bring us joy and fulfillment, and that's going to give back to our community. Mr. Toastmaster.